What's going on, guys? Xphotox95 here. Today, we're doing part 2 of the Pokemon Rumble playthrough, and I had originally recorded this a couple days ago, and I decided to put it up today. And I kind of got rid of the commentary. I had some old commentary that I made that was live while I was playing the game, and I just talked about Pokemon. It's just weird stuff. So the next video I may upload is going to be a little random, and it's not going to be pertinent to this topic that I'm going to be talking about for the next, I don't know, however long this video is. And I'm going to be talking about something that everyone is talking about right now. That is Sopa and Pipa. Sopa is an anti-piracy bill that's working its way through Congress. It's the Stop Online Piracy Act, and it was started October 26th of 2011, and it grants content creators extraordinary power over the internet. It gives the people who, like Eminem, those producers, they get more power. And I mean, I'm kind of impartial here, but my biggest problem is the fact that right now, and this is going to be a little bit of rage, like a PMS moment, but just bear with me. I was fucking trying to watch porn, and I'm trying to keep my voice down as low as possible, but I was so fucking mad, and I'm just like, alright, I'm ready. I got my hand, and I got my necessaries, you know, my family jewels. Got my shower on so no one can hear my vigorous masturbation. And bam, first website I hit. They're protesting Sopa, and they're like shutting down these websites. I personally have, like, I understand what Sopa's doing because it's kind of like a good thing, but I don't think it's ever going to work. They're basically trying to give the people who actually created stuff like games and all that kind of crap, trying to give them full credit so that people don't pirate these games. I think it's impossible to do this. There's always going to be people who are trying to get the easy way out and pirate the game. Even this game, I pirated this. I mean, am I guilty? Sure, but I'm not the one who came up with it. It's just it's pretty easily accessible. Depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a movie, it's so easily accessible. Music, so easily accessible. Something like a game, which is more complicated, is not as accessible. But, I mean, you can still find the game you're looking for depending on how popular it is and that kind of stuff. But it just really pissed me off when I was just so ready. I came back from a difficult day, and I was ready to take my stress out by, spanking the meat, I guess, spanking the beef, spanking the pre. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it's called. There's like a bunch of different words to say it, but you know what I was gonna do, and I fucking got blocked because almost every single website that worked on my phone was blocked, and it just pissed me off to no end. I'm like, Pornhub blocked, Spankwire blocked. Everything was blocked for me on my phone. I don't know if on the PC it's different or something like that, but on my phone I can't watch every kind of video because of the formatting of the video. So the few sites that I checked, I don't remember if it was actually Pornhub or Spankwire, but they were blocked. And I don't really have a problem with, so yeah, I don't have a problem with Sopa. I just think that it's, like, the idea is good. I would really love to give those people who worked hard for whatever they created, their original art, I'm going to call it an art, whatever they do, the games, the music, the movies, whatever they created, I think that they deserve to have complete power over who is able to watch it, and they are able to gain as much profit from it as possible. But I just don't think it's ever going to be possible for then the Congress and these bills to completely go through and shut down all these sites. Now, what this means for YouTube is one of the biggest sites because there are a lot of people who say, like, oh, free. Someone will search up free, I don't know, like Call of Duty torrent something. Generally you go on Google and you find it on forums, right? There are forums. There's YouTube. And those are like the main sources for these kinds of pirated games. And that means that SOPA is going to be targeting these sites. And these sites are not just used for pirating. There are some websites that are just used for torrenting and pirating music, games, movies, whatever you want. But there are a lot of times, like YouTube, this is a place where we share our feelings. It's entertainment. There's a lot of hard work that went into the site that is not about the piracy. It's the kind of the thing where a one or few people doing something victimizes everyone else. And I don't know if they're ever going to be able to bring down YouTube because it's such a beast right now. It's so big. Um, I don't think Google will ever let that happen because I'm pretty sure Google owns YouTube now. Um, and if Google loses YouTube, Google might even be next. You Google anything you want, you can basically pirate it. So that'd be like the biggest source. So all those forum websites, the places where people are able to speak out and share their thoughts on things, and there's almost like a community type thing. Every forum has a community. Every YouTube has a huge community. There's many communities in YouTube. There's Call of Duty. There's, um, I don't know, I guess there's trading cards and stuff. There's all these games. There's Battlefield, Halo. There's a video game community. And then there's just um, like Epic Mealtime and those kinds of funny parody. There's parodies like Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series. There was Naruto The Abridged series. That's like a community, and there's so many communities um, that I lost my train of thought. um, yeah, there's all these communities that could be hurt by this, and like if YouTube is taken down, I don't know what people would do. A lot of people's livelihoods depend on YouTube. All those big YouTubers, I'm pretty sure they stop working like full-time jobs and make YouTube their full-time job because it's pretty profitable, and they want to dedicate as much time to it and gain as much money out of it because it's enjoyable and you get money out of it. I mean that's perfect. It's a dream job for them. But if someone takes down YouTube, all these people like Woody's Gamertag, White Boy, White Boy 7th Street, they're all screwed because I mean, who's gonna how are they gonna get a living? Some of these people probably gave up pretty decent jobs for these. I don't want to say they gave up incredible jobs, but they probably had some half decent jobs, which earned them a decent amount of money. And now, I mean, it's gonna be difficult for them to find a job in this with this economy and the recession and all this stuff. So I don't know how it's gonna impact. We'll see from now. I believe people thought Sopa was dead before. But I guess not. I guess it's coming back now because all these websites are protesting, and I don't mind that they're protesting. I mean, they want to make their money, they want their freedoms, because ultimately I think it's kind of a violation of the amendments that we are given as Americans. And the SOPA thing, it's in the United States Congress, so Americans are affected by it. I actually don't know how that'll work. I think it would have to be an American website, like created by an American company like YouTube or Google or something like that. I guess if it's foreign, it's not impacted at all, which is kind of unfair if you think about it. I mean, like YouTube could somehow outsource into a different country or something like that. I don't know how the internet works. I'm pretty sure you can access any website from anywhere in the world, but I don't think I've ever done it. So I'm not exactly sure how this will impact YouTube and me and kind of like everyone, because a lot of these sites, especially YouTube, people use actively, and if that happens, there will be not just the websites protesting, the people will be protesting because they're losing jobs. There are people who depend on this for entertainment. Like, I don't really watch anything besides like YouTube videos. I mean, there's such a wide variety of content on YouTube that you can basically find anything, and the amount of entertainment you can gain from this website is basically unlimited. There are plenty of other websites that you could go to, but I'm just not sure how it will work. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what Pippa is. I guess it's along the same lines. Here's shutters. Alright, so potential for abuse. Okay, so potentially, I guess Sopa could create an internet blacklist. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I guess certain sites would just be banned like forever. I don't know what else to say. I mean, like, it's kind of sucks but it's kind of like a necessary evil because, like, if let's say for example, if I created this amazing thing, like, let's say I created the greatest video game of all time, right? And people are, well, like, let's say I could, no, not even a great video game. If I create a great video game, everyone's gonna buy it. No one is probably gonna like torrent that kind of. Well, people still will, but I'll still make a decent amount of money. If I make a game that's mediocre, that not many people buy, it's really gonna hurt me when people try to pirate it. I understand that there will be not as many people trying to pirate the game, but I feel like I would never pay money for $60 for a video game if the video game is mediocre. I will definitely try to. If I don't really pirate games too much, I don't really play a wide variety of games. But if I were to try to find a video game that was mediocre and I heard that it wasn't good, and I just wanted to try and see maybe for myself what all the hullabaloo was about, and what my thoughts are, because everyone is different. You know, some people love Call of Duty, some people hate it, some people love Batman, some people hate it, some people love Skyrim, some people hate it. I mean, everyone's different. So if I just didn't feel that it was worth it to buy a certain video game, like let's say Skyrim for example. If I felt that it wasn't worth it to buy Skyrim, I would torrent it, right? And obviously it's not true because Skyrim is an incredible game and I probably would buy it. But where am I going with this? Right. So if I have a great game and I'm gonna buy it, right? But for those mediocre games that barely make money off of those games, like I don't know what, like off the top of my head, what's that game called? Like, okay, I'm pretty sure they come out with 007 games still. No one buys 007. I think there was like some 007 GoldenEye, something. And okay, alright, Dynasty Warriors. Dynasty Warriors is not a very well known game. I love the game. I used to love it. I don't play it that much anymore, but it was a very fun game for me. It's not a popular game. I think it got, like, according to, I was at my friend's house and I was reading this gaming magazine. I don't know what it was, but it said that it got like a 6 out of 10. I still think it was a great game. It was fun. It was a little repetitive, but it had a good storyline, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, not many people probably thought it was worth buying. But if they see this game, they're like, okay, it can't be that bad. I mean, some people say it's good. You'll torrent it, which is why there's such a high, what is it? Which is why so many people do create these torrents, because they can make money. Some people make money off of their torrents, and B, some people just want to give like publicity to that game. It's not necessarily bad if you try the game out and let's say it's a game in a series like Dynasty Warriors, and you try the game and you're like, wow, this game is great. I gotta get the next one. Then you are giving back a little bit of publicity towards that company in a sense. I mean, if it's like, okay, let's think of another game in a series. Batman. You try the first let's say, or Bioshock. Let's say I torrented Bioshock today because I didn't want to buy it. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't feel like paying the $60. Actually, I think it's probably like 20 now because they're like a Gaming of the Year edition. Yeah. So let's say I buy it. I'm like, wow, this game is fantastic. I really like all the superpowers and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna buy Bioshock Infinite because the first Bioshock and the second one, they were so good. I love those games. You are giving back and kind of closing the gap and making up for other people who will pirate the next game. So let's say theoretically, let's say 100,000 people buy Bioshock Infinite, right? No, buy the second Bioshock. I don't know what it was, Bioshock 2, whatever it was. Let's say 100,000 people buy it, and then let's say 10,000 people torrent it, right? Um, of those 10,000 people, let's also say 50% of them decide that the game is fantastic and incredible and they want to go buy Bioshock Infinite. Then those 5,000 people are added to the total of people who buy Bioshock Infinite, right? So let's say another 100,000 people buy Bioshock Infinite, but that's not included the number of people that are going to buy it in the future, who played the previous games. Those 5,000 that I was talking about, who were like, wow, the other Bioshocks are fantastic. I got to get the Bioshock Infinite. That's another 5,000. So 5,000 more people are added towards the number of people who bought Bioshock Infinite, not because they heard it was a great game, but because they experienced it for the first ones for themselves without having to pay the $60. Therefore, let's say another 10,000 people torrent it. It almost makes up 5,000 out of the next 10,000. If 10,000 people torrent Bioshock Infinite and 5,000 people who torrented the previous games bought Bioshock Infinite as a result of the previous torrenting, then they're now almost eliminating 5,000 people who torrented Bioshock Infinite. I know this is really, really wordy, but if you can follow me, it kind of makes sense. Like, crap. Like, so they're giving, in a sense, they're alleviating the amount of money loss that the creators of Bioshock Infinite would have had on their hands, the amount of money that they would have lost had these games not been torrented. They're lessening it. So it's not that the extent that people are making a big deal out of this piracy thing is not as great as people think. A lot of people just buy games. And I don't think that very, very many people torrent games. I'm going to be honest with you. Torrent music, maybe. Torrent movies, god damn, all the time. But there are still a lot of people who actually buy the game, so it's still profitable to them. And here the video cuts out, and you can either just listen to me talk or you can turn off the video, whatever you want. So they're still making a decent amount of profit, right? If they're not making this profit, then there would be no point to making their art, their product, whatever they're doing. So I think that if it were a perfect world, yes, there would be no piracy. There would be a way to get rid of it, and that all of these problems could be avoided. But it's not a perfect world, and people are making a much bigger deal out of it than it is. I'm not endorsing piracy. I'm not saying it's a great thing, despite the fact that in my previous video I put a link to the download of Pokemon Rumble. That was just me being kind, and I'm probably going to get screwed over for that, but I don't care. So yeah, like, it's going to happen, no matter what there is. There's always cheaters in this world, in everything. People don't want to spend money. I mean, not everyone has the ability to spend money. If you were poor, and let's say you could only afford a game a year, I'm not saying that's poor. Like, I don't buy many games. I only buy like 1-2 games a year. But let's say you don't want to buy more than a game a year, and you hear a game, you buy it. I mean, you torrent it, okay? That is perfectly fine. Like, it's gonna happen. Everyone torrents. No, not everyone. I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say here. It's not a big deal. That's the main idea. The Congress is making a much bigger deal out of it than it is. I understand that these companies need to make their money, and in terms of like capitalism, it's kind of cheating the system and that kind of stuff. But it's not a perfect world. It never will be. Everyone is going to try to cheat their way out of paying money. If you had the opportunity to have a free dinner, or a dinner that you paid for and it can feel good that you paid for about, you would probably pick, depending on the person, you would probably pick the free dinner, right? They're both going to taste the same. There's no difference in the dinners. The only difference is you might not feel good about yourself. That's the biggest difference. And I'm not, see again, I'm not endorsing it, but that's just how I feel. I feel like there's always going to be piracy no matter what you do. There's no way to stop piracy. I don't understand what they think they're doing. Everyone is going to figure out a way to pirate movies, music, games, everything. It has nothing to do with the system and how everything's working. No one really endorses piracy. It just happens. There are people who have to create the products, the pirated products of torrents. Um, but I mean, that's just what's gonna happen. If you like this video, please thumbs up. It really helps me out. And if you have not subscribed already, please do so. Thank you and peace.